What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Morning Tea. I'm your girl, Alex Shipman, and I am joined by the amazing and colorful, today, Courtney Revolution. How you doing, Courtney?
Good morning, Alex. Hey, Tea Tribe. I'm Courtney Revolution. Welcome to the Morning Tea. I'm doing good, Alex. Thank you about this shirt. Like I always say, I just want to, remind people that I'm gay and love men. So I feel like I wanted to start this Weekday Wednesday off with, just reminding everyone that gay is okay. Actually, in general, being different, quirky, whatever you are, that's your own thing, is okay. And you don't need people like you.
Love that. And what a great way to start off the show and this hump day. And we can't forget, it's also What Wesley Say Wednesday. And if you're new here, let me just break it down real quick how this show works. So, of course, a lot of you are here for our OMT story of the day, which we're talking about Britney Spears and her sister, Jamie Lynn Spears, a new update to her conservatorship. So stick around for that. But the story you see in the headline, we'll get to that, but we have a bunch of tea to spill before that. So we'll definitely run through the tea and then give you that Britney update. So I just want to put it out there because I know everyone gets super excited and wants to talk about our headline story, but that comes at the end of the show. So make sure you stick around for that. But if you're new here, welcome and hello to the Tea Tribe. If you're part of the Tea Tribe, you know that we have people watching from all over the world. We're international, baby. So drop it in the chat where you're watching from today because we love to hear all the exciting places you're watching from. Right, Courtney?
Yes. Whether near or far, you need to tell me why. ASAP.
Yes, exactly. Good morning from Maryland. Hello, Patrice. Good morning to you. It's so exciting. Isn't this always fun? Obviously, we're based in Los Angeles where there is a heat wave going on. There's sadly some fires going on. There's a lot of stuff happening around us. So we love to kind of fantasize about where everyone else is living at the moment because it sounds a lot better than where we are. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. It definitely helps, especially because I'm not really leaving the house like that, to sort of see all the different locations and find out where y'all are watching from.
Yes. Okay, we got some Tea Tribe members from Chicago this morning, from Sweden, from Jamaica. Wow, this is pretty cool. Being on a beach in Jamaica, amazing to me right now. You're really, with the colors, you could fit right in there, Courtney. You know what I mean? Those Jamaican vibes.
Alex, I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna keep it real brief and cute and not extra. I am not stepping foot in Jamaica with some gay pride colors on, or else I might not step back into America. So definitely would not be doing that.
You know what I mean? Jamaican vibe, the colors. You know what I mean?
I just don't want none of the Tea Tribe members to think that it's safe to be running around Jamaica with some gay pride on because they're running for long. But I get what you mean, girl.
The rainbow means love. And, there's some loving vibes there as well. Everyone, there's issues everywhere, but there is a lot of love around the world. And we have to remember that in all of this hate going around, there are still good people in this world. So let's remember that. You know what I mean? Good morning from Washington State, from North Carolina, from the Barrier Islands of Florida, Norwich, New York, 13815. What you know about that 13815, Courtney? I know you're from the East Coast.
That is not my zip from Harlem, girl. I don't know what zip code that is, but shout out to Norwich. That might be upstate.
Just thought maybe you'd know something about it because I don't know anything about that. But hello to Barry. Welcome. Arkansas. We got Buffalo, New York. But Lorian's family is in California. Prayers for New Orleans. I'm not sure what you're referring to, but sending prayers if they need it. Someone from Sweden, no fires, just the damned COVID. Listen, we're all still dealing with that at the moment, but hoping that everyone is staying safe. Good morning to Music Lover. And washing our hands. Yes, of course. And, our girl Mika is coming in from Nebraska, so I think we need a little 5, 6, 7, 8.
Miss Mika, nice to meet ya. Miss Mika. And we see ya, Miss Mika. Go, Mika. Go, Mika. Go, Mika. Happy Wednesday to Mika. It's always nice to meet you, girl. Hey.
Always nice to meet you, Mika. And just a little update. There is a hurricane in New Orleans. Or coming to New Orleans. So that's what we're sending prayers for. So scary. We hope you stay safe, everyone that is watching from New Orleans. Very scary. Good morning from Colorado, from Virginia, from Miami, Florida. Hello to everyone. All right. Well, while the Tea Tribe is coming in, we have a lot to talk about today. Of course, like we mentioned at the top of the show, our OMT story is about Britney Spears' younger sister, Jamie Lynn Spears, being named trustee of her fortune. There's a lot to break down. We're also talking about the Real Housewives of New York. One of the members, by Dorinda. This is some sad, heartbreaking news for me as a Real Housewives of New York fan. We'll get into that. There's a possible Bring It On reunion, Courtney. This is exciting. I know we kind of talked about this on the show before. And then Tia Mowry talks about losing weight by her way of her own way, basically, and her mom's advice. And then Hilary Duff is making time for herself. Very important for mothers right now. And celebrities are to the 2020 Emmys. So, of course, the Emmys are now virtual, as most award shows are being held. So it's going to be a little different this year. Then we'll get into Denise Richards keeping it hot with her husband, which is some interesting timing of this news because, of course, the scandal is still going on the show. Then Megan Fox is getting some heat for moving on with Machine Gun Kelly. Fans just don't want to see it, I guess. And then where did Beyonce and Jay-Z take a little much-needed break? We'll get into that. And then Kylie and Kendall are attending a house party at the Biebers and not really following social distancing guidelines. People are upset. Then Kim's cute daughters, we can't get enough of, a little photo op that Kim shared. And then get this, Kanye is being sued for allegedly stealing or copying something. So stick around for that later in the show. There is just so much to talk about. Courtney, this tea is pretty piping hot today. What do you think about this? What Wesley Say Wednesday?
There is a lot going on, Alex Schiffman, and I'm praying, girl. Pray with me, y'all. That Wesley has some good things to say, especially about Tia Mowry's weight loss. I'm ready to get into it, girl.
Before we get into it, Courtney, did you hear about, speaking of some virtual events, did you hear about Meg Thee Stallion, Lil Uzi charging $15 for virtual concerts? Did you hear about this news? I know you did.
I absolutely love it. I'm very excited. I feel like for people like me that are not going to leave the house, that's going to take a very long time to even get to even thinking about hopping in the cubicle with Taylor Swift and Harry Styles next year. $15 to see Megan Thee Stallion sort of give us an exclusive moment. You know she gonna twerk. You know she gonna sing Savage. So why not? I'm also a big Lil Uzi Vert fan as well. So I think that this is a great moment, I feel like, for pop culture and music, and also for live performances, because it shows other artists, like their peers, that they have an option. Like, you don't really have to worry about, can I tour this album, because you can sort of make it a huge, exclusive, sort of virtual event. So I thought it was a good idea. Would you ever attend one of these if it was someone you really liked? If J-Lo was giving you like a $10 Tuesday night exclusive, you put your bamboos on there?
I would. I'd make a whole kind of event about it. You know, I'd put out some little apps from Trader Joe's, our favorite place, Courtney, bring out the wine and just put on a J-Lo concert right from my own couch. Like, that sounds amazing. I'm a big fan of Meg also. And I'm excited to see that she's still working. She's still moving forward. This is some great, great news. This is happening August 27th, Lil Uzi's show, and then August 29th. It's a Thursday and Saturday from 6 to 7 p.m. So, T-Tribe, if you're a fan of either of them, check it out, because this is a perfect way to be safe and still have fun during everything going on. Because we know we got to stay safe. And we're going to talk about a lot of people that aren't necessarily being so safe. But before we get into that, it's about that time to pour up that hot water and get into our You Missed It segment, Courtney, because there is a lot of hot and quick news bites that we need to kick off this show with. What tea are we drinking this morning, Courtney?
I got some nice and tasty green for me. Are you drinking coffee, Alex?
I'm drinking a little vanilla coffee. I'm absolutely obsessed with this Starbucks coffee. I didn't even know it existed, and now it's like my staple. So cheers to that. Some vanilla and woo. All right. So let's get started, as I said, with You Missed It. These are all the hot and quick news stories you may have missed during your evening of sleep. The first thing we're talking about is Dorinda gone, and Real Housewives of New York fans are shocked. So they're shocked to find out this latest news coming out of New York, but it might have actually been a surprise to her too. Like, she was actually fired from the show. So Page Six was told from a source that Dorinda was blindsided by the news she'd been dropped by the Bravo show after 6 seasons. Apparently, Dorinda got a call. She was fired while taping ABC's The 100,000 Pyramid. Have you heard of that show, Courtney?
I have not.
It's a good show,
pyramid, girl.
Listen, I haven't watched it fully through, but I have chimed in. Sometimes when I see a new show on my guide and there's nothing to watch, I just kind of check it out and see what it's all about. I guess she was taping an episode for that. The source was also told that she'd become a mean drunk on the show, which we've spoken about before. A lot of the castmates have become very upset with Dorinda for after she has a few drinks, she becomes a little aggressive and has attacked some of the other women. However, she's not the only one to be dealing with these types of allegations. You know, Luann has also had drinking problems, been to rehab. You know, Ramona has gotten feisty. So it's crazy. I know you're just a new fan to the franchise, but let me just tell you that
to rehab? That's what I care about. My countess don't went to rehab. I don't even know Dorinda. Luann don't went to rehab.
Oh, that's why you need to watch it all the way through, because you have them at the beginning of the show where they're just like prim and
I know. Alex, when this season is going to be over? Because I'm sick of this. With every time I watch something, I got to come to work and have it spoiled. When this season is over, do you think? Did it just start, Alex?
It's almost over. Don't worry. It's almost over.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So, but like I just mentioned, you know, it's public knowledge that co-star Luann de Lesseps has struggled with alcoholism and several stints in rehab. But the Page Six source says the difference is that Lesseps drinking didn't change the dynamics of the show, whereas drunk Dorinda has become like a drag. It's really been a storyline of the entire this season. So T-Tribe, if you're a fan of the show, let me know, will you miss Dorinda? I mean, one of the most iconic, famous sayings is from Sonia, who we've talked about on the show, the one that got the beautiful facelifts. She goes up to Dorinda's like boyfriend at the time and says, "What are you doing here without Dorinda?" And it's like a famous saying. She's like calling out the boyfriend. And let me just say, I don't know what I'm going to be doing watching the show without Dorinda, because she's one of my favorite castmates. So this is very heartbreaking, but the show must go on, Courtney.
Let me tell you right now, you talking about Dorinda, I feel that way about whatever I'm watching right now that don't have nobody's Bethany in it, girl. I'm ready.
Okay.
Y'all need to stop that. Now, Andy was doing, I don't know if he was busy with doing something else. Maybe he was casting Teresa at the time, but that's a chop. Then y'all need to make sure that don't ever happen ever again. Is Bethany on the show now? Y'all can spoil that. Is Bethany on the show now? Because that's going to determine whether I continue watching this. Because this is a whole show full of side characters without Bethany.
I'm going to do a sad spoiler for you, Courtney. Bethany is not on the show anymore. However, she did chime in on this Dorinda news, and she's like very upset as well. There's a lot of celebrities, because Dorinda posted on her Instagram kind of announcing the news and this heartfelt kind of caption, and Andy commented. Lisa Rinna commented, Bethany commented. Everyone knows how iconic Dorinda is. I want you to stick around and watch it through Dorinda, because you'll get it by the end of the show. But it's sad. You know, it's like a big loss. And shocking.
And they keeping the show on without Skinny Girl, Margarita. The show is continuing on without, and y'all are loving it.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I guess I should.
Sonia's going to have
it's a marathon without this Bethany right now. The girls ain't giving it to me. I can only watch Jill sip Pinot Grigio so many episodes, Alex. I got to be honest. Now, where's her rehab?
Just wait. Sonia, who will also be a fave of yours, has like cooking businesses that fail. She doesn't follow through with any of them. Like, it's just, it's all a mess, but it's good. But until then, yeah. Oh, Karina's saying maybe Dorinda will start a cooking show. Yeah, Dorinda's Italian. She loves cooking. So maybe she will start a cooking show. We'll stick around for that. But until then, we'll have to wait till the reunion of all the Housewives. And speaking of some reunions, listen to this one, because Kirsten Dunst and Gabrielle Union had a reunion via Zoom for the 20th anniversary of Bring It On. And there's a possible Bring It On sequel idea. So they're ready to do another one. And during the convo, the ladies started picking possible ideas for a Bring It On sequel. So Gabrielle said, the impact 20 years later that this movie had and continues to have, that's awesome. So whatever that we may one day come up with, I mean, Kirsten, maybe we're like co-heads of the PTA. I don't know. Kirsten added, or we run a cheer school like Cheer. And of course, that's a reference to the Netflix docuseries about the cheerleading team at Navarro College. Great. Did you see Cheer, Courtney?
Alex, now why you had to say that? T-Tribe, please leave me alone today. Because I'm not a Cheer fan and they all love it. It's not, I love cheerleading, that, love to watch it. That particular show, girl, snooze fest. Shout out to Jerry. I know I will never say anything bad about Jerry, T-Tribe. I know y'all love y'all some Jerry. I will not do that. Here. Cheer is not the show for me. It just, girl, too bad. 3 nights I tried to watch it, girl. Girl, I was asleep. Girl. Okay, when y'all gonna get to bed?
Let me just say to that point, okay, it is a little slow. I will agree with you on that. And there is some more exciting moments than ever. But if you just push yourself to make it through, it's worth it. Because like Jerry is life-changing. He really is. But all of them, you know, have their own special, talk about it. But let's get back to the Bring It On reunion. T-Tribe, are you excited for this? Would you like to see, there have been Bring It On sequels, but not with the original 2. So I think Gabrielle's idea of the co-heads of the PTA would be hilarious. I mean, there's different ways they could spin it, but it's not going to be good until the originals come back. We need the OGs, right?
Yeah, but truthfully, Alex, for me, I feel like that time is long gone. It's long. Yeah. I feel like when I turned on USA Network, however many years ago, 10 years ago, however many years ago, and I saw Bring It On 2, and it wasn't those 2, I feel like the ship had officially sailed. Now, we definitely got 1 or 2 decent TV, made for TV movie, straight to DVD versions that were decent. Hayden Panettiere did the cute one, and there was another one that was like okay, but I feel like we should have gotten a sequel first, like whatever their idea is now, we should have gotten that then, and then we should have gotten like a decade of these like one-off, like American Pie-esque, like straight to DVD sequels. It'll be good for people that are like die-hard stands of the movie. Like I would lose it if Clueless all of a sudden decided that they were going to do a sequel. Unnecessary, but I would still watch it. But I feel like that time has passed for this. I want something new in the world of cheerleaders. Where's our next big iconic cheerleader? Something that maybe it's a drama, maybe it's something, but we haven't had anything groundbreaking, I would say, since Cheer, right? Yeah. In terms of the world of cheerleading. Cheer, Bring It, dancing and all that. No more sequels, no more reboots. I want originals, unless they're iconic enough. Yeah.
I hear you. I agree. I think, they kind of screwed up a little bit with the sequels. And so a lot of the fans, Bring It On fans, checked out. But I do think having the 2 originals would change it a bit. So, this is kind of the season of reboots. And it's been that way for a few years, especially with streaming and kind of our old favorite shows coming back. So listen, if it comes out, I'm probably going to check in and watch. And then I may not stay till the end. But just, hearing a little Burr, it's cold in here. I know we danced on the show last week. I'd love to just, perform that with them again if they're interested. So, I will watch. But
Alex, we got to get you a role in the film. We need you in the movie. If they're the PTA moms, who going to play the principal girl that's going to lay the smack down? Alex Shipman.
Cheer is like in my blood. Like, I was born a cheerleader. You know, I love getting people exciting and rooting people on. And then, of course, I did it in high school and competitively. Like, cheer is my life. So I always want to see another cheer, you know, episode or series or anything. So I'm down. But until then, speaking of reboots, let's talk about some of more OGs that we love. Tia Mowry, of course, is talking about losing weight and mom advice. So Tia is glad she took her time losing the weight she gained during her pregnancy with her daughter, Cairo. So she shared a selfie on Instagram yesterday and revealed she lost nearly 70 pounds since giving birth to her second child in May 2018. Tia said, quote, "I've lost to date 68 pounds since giving birth to my daughter. I'm very proud that I did it in my way and in my time. I didn't feel rushed to snap back. I enjoyed breastfeeding and spending quality time with Cairo and my son, Cree." She also gave fellow moms some advice, saying, "To all the women who are feeling pressured after birth, do what makes you proud and do it in your time, not anyone else's." And then Vanessa Bryant, Kobe Bryant's wife, took to the comments to also praise Tia for her work, saying, "Great job, mama." T-Tribe, what do you think about this whole concept of snapping back after pregnancy? I mean, personally, I think it is horrible. I mean, a woman in general just creating a life inside of her should be enough. Having to then worry about bouncing back and into her best figure is just horrible to me. I don't agree with it. And I think women should take as long as they want to get the body that they want. And no one else should talk about it. How do you feel, Courtney?
I agree. I always find the snapback stuff to be real weird. Like, you had a baby, like, why are you running to the gym? Everyone has options and everyone makes choices, Alex. But I'm glad that she took the moment to just do what she wanted to do. And when the weight comes off, or when you wake up and decide, okay, today's the day, then you go for it. It just doesn't have to be immediate. Like, and this isn't a negative thing, but Iggy Azalea just had her baby, and immediately her body, when we saw her again, it was like, bam, she never had the baby. And that's cool and all.
Yeah.
But that's not the only option. You can have a baby and, girl, decide never to want to lose weight. Like, who cares? Like, you're a mother now. Like,
Exactly.
I feel like it's okay to want to feel sexy, right? And if losing weight is going to make you feel sexy, fine. However,
Yeah.
you can still be sexy and be thick and juicy. You can still be sexy and have cellulite. Yes, you can still be sexy with all of those things. So I'm glad that we have Miss Mowry out here to spread the facts.
Yeah. I mean, I think Crazy Kid in the chat says I hate the idea of it. Alonce saying period. Wow, that's amazing from Emmanuel. Angel says, "I'm a week away from my due date and my body has been stretched to the max and beat up. I love all my stretch marks because it created my blessing. I'm definitely taking my time." Shout out to you. That's incredible. I think every woman should decide for themselves what they want to do after their baby is born. If they need time, they need time, and no one should be able to comment on that otherwise. But I do think that this is amazing for Tia, and I think that now she feels very healthy and in a better place for herself, and so it's some good news, right?
Yes, ma'am. That's some good news, girl. She done snapped back. Just a little delayed. And ain't nothing wrong with that.
Exactly. Well, speaking of someone else who is snapping back and making some time for herself, Miss Hilary Duff. She's a hardworking mother, but she's still making a little time for herself to show off some glam. So she posted this picture on Tuesday night on Instagram with the caption, quote, "Always posting my kids, dogs, and chickens. Popped a red lip on and felt cute. Might delete later." She also recently posted this Instagram saying, "I know it's extra hard to keep up and find normalcy in quarantine, but I truly hope you make at least 30 minutes a day for yourself to stay connected. Do whatever feels good for you, even if it's not food or fitness related." So I love this news. I think that, Hilary is just like anyone else. Just because she's a mother doesn't mean that she needs time for self-care and her own mental health. I think it's very, very important for mothers and wives and men as well, husbands and brothers, to take time from caring about other people and also focusing on themselves, especially during quarantine. It's a tough time for everyone and everyone's mental health. We've spoken about this many times on the show. So you need, like she said, 30 minutes a day, if you can do it, to yourself. How do you feel about this, Courtney?
Well, neither of us are parents.
That's true.
Obviously, but we can relate this story to needing the time for yourself. And we know that has always been followed every time she leaves the house. So I'm glad that she was able to sort of have this moment, and she looks great.
Yeah, no, I agree. I also think that, some of my friends, like my mom friends, think they talk about like when the child naps or when they're at school or something like that. I know right now is a different time, but like nap time is their me time. So maybe that's a way, for other moms to get their self-care and kind of focus on themselves during that time. Because I know it gets tough. I can't even imagine adding that layer of having a child take care of a family on top of everything going on. So shout out to the mom tribe. T-Tribe, let us know, how do you kind of take 30 minutes a day, if that, and it could be 10 minutes a day to focus on yourself and remember to do a little self-care. Let us know in the chat. We'd love to hear it. And while we're talking about self-care, listen to this next news about Anthony Anderson's new Emmys outfit. So before we get into couples Thera-Tea, we got to talk about these outfits of the 2020 Emmys. So Anthony Anderson up for the won't be part of his home. The Television Academy's annual ceremony is going virtual, like many award shows, and the producers are sorting out the logistics and revealed the dress code will be relatively lax. So even sweatpants are allowed at the Emmys this year. Pretty cool. So Anthony said, quote, "I think I'm getting a tuxedo robe made. It's going to be very comfortable. It's going to be a tuxedo robe. I'm not going to have a full suit." So, I'm going to be honest. Part of this makes me feel a little sad and reiterates, kind of hits home. The Emmys won't be the Emmys that, I love the award season. It's something I look forward to every year. I worked at E! On the live events team, which covers the award season. So I've always loved this part of the year. And so it's sad that it's virtual. However, I do think that celebrities should be comfortable and like Anthony having fun with it, adding a little laugh to the viewers. I like all of this, but I am going to miss a little glam if everyone chooses to just wear their sweatpants. What do you think about that?
I think it's great. We're in quarantine. This is our new normal. So it makes sense that if you're going to have to be at home, you should be comfortable. So I get it. Put your robe on.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear it. T-Tribe, let us know. Are you excited for this virtual Emmys? Will you miss kind of the red carpets? Who are you wearing? That whole aspect, those kind of pre-shows? Or you're not going to miss it? Are you tuning into the Emmys also? Let us know. Music Lover says awards are my favorite. I'll miss the red carpets. I know, Courtney, you're not tuning in. I'll probably tune in.
Grammys, Billboard Awards, even Teen Choice, the music-leaning ones, I'll definitely be tuning in. Emmys, the reason why is because y'all know I don't watch TV like that. So not current TV that y'all are obsessed with like that. So yeah, not my award show, but call me when it's time.
Chelsea says, I love the dresses, but I don't ever watch it. LOL. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Some of that glam kind of part, or watching your favorite stars. Like they posted on social media too, that whole pre-show kind of, excitement up until the show. I'm going to miss a little bit. I'm not going to lie. But I hear you. Emmys are also the most boring of all of them. But if you don't watch TV, they've started to add more of the streaming services in the category. So you actually will be a little surprised, Courtney. If you tune in, you'll see some of the shows I'm sure you've watched be nominated. Because TV or watching TV has changed in general. You know what I mean? It's now
absolutely.
We stream.
How about this, Alex? Someone from the T Tribe, the night of the Emmys, the second Chelsea Issa Rae, tweet me, girl. I will cut it right on. And then as soon as Issa Rae is off the stage, girl, click.
All right. All right. Exactly. I'll shoot you a little text when Issa comes on, and then you'll chime in. You'll watch that 10 minutes. We'll talk about what she's wearing on the show the next day, and we're out.
Yes.
All right. Changing gears a little bit, we're going to get into some couples Thera-Tea, which are our couples celebrity news of the day. If you're new here, and don't worry if you're just chiming in, we're going to get to our Britney OMT story of the day, so stick around. We're almost there, Tea Tribe. But until then, let's talk about Denise Richards and her husband. Because Denise revealed her and her husband leave the kids at home while they have a getaway, 1 weekend a month to reconnect. Denise said on the Rachel Hollis show that in normal circumstances, my husband and I, we take 1 weekend a month. We go to a hotel where it's just us. She also added we don't feel guilty about it. We have our adult time. And I think it's a very important thing for any couple to know. It's okay to reconnect and not feel guilty having your household taken care of. She did say that having help is beneficial in more ways than one, saying, there's a lot we can do ourselves, but I can't do everything on my own. And actually, it makes me a better parent having the help. So luckily for her, she can afford to have help. Not everyone can afford to have help. But this goes back to what we were talking about earlier with Hilary Duff, that I think this is really important for, people that are married to focus on their relationship and reconnect because, when family is involved and there's other layers and stress and work and added to a relationship, it can really, really put a detriment on the relationship. So I think this is great. I think it's important to reconnect and, reestablish that love again, that the reason you fell in love. How do you feel about this, Courtney?
I agree. You need those moments to reevaluate. Just moments just to make sure that you're connected, because there's nothing worse than feeling disconnected in your relationship. So shout out to Denise for being smart. You get what I'm saying? That's smart, I feel like. Enough couples don't do that. Take the time for themselves as a unit.
Exactly. It's interesting timing for this news to come out. Obviously, we talked about the scandal a million times on the show, and there are some claims
and that finale coming right around the corner too, girl.
Exactly. And there's claims that Denise kind of cheated, so to speak, on Aaron. So it's just interesting timing of the story to come out, because maybe they do need those extra vacations to reconnect with everything going on. You know what I mean?
Alex, now I'm a little irritated, right? Because it's like, at this point, if you did it, Denise, who cares? It's like y'all are not the only people in Hollywood with an open marriage, as we've seen. So it's like, who cares? Like, it's driving me insane that as someone watches so much reality TV, Alex. Initially, Denise had I told you that I felt as though I liked Denise because I felt like she was a real person that was dropped into reality TV. Y'all have heard me say that before. Now I'm realizing as I'm watching it, it was an act, because truly, like Lisa said in the past, to be perceived a certain way by the public. Like, if Denise wanted to revitalize her career, she could definitely do that just by being herself. If you have an open marriage, you have an open marriage. Why not be the couple that's like, yeah, our marriage is open, who cares? I think that would shine a spotlight on them in a positive light, just for being leaders. I kind of look at Denise as being a little coward, if it's true.
I agree. And I think that's the same kind of complaint that the rest of the cast has about Denise. It's like, if this is true, own it. And she's not owning it. And we look to Denise, like you said, as kind of this real person that entered reality TV, but she's not being real. So she's almost coming off as more of a fraud in a way. And people don't want to see that. They want to see real Denise Richards, the reason why we love her. So I guess we'll stay tuned for the finale. It's right around the corner. Super excited about that. But until we get to the finale, let's talk about some more couple news. Megan Fox is getting some heat for moving on. So sadly, Megan said she's getting heat for moving on with Machine Gun Kelly. She told ET, quote, "For whatever reason, people are very trigger happy to call me stupid or call me vain or call me a slut, which is crazy. I was in the same relationship for 15 years, you know?" Of course, she was married to Brian Austin Green. We've talked about them on the show. She also said, quote, "It's bizarre, this image that gets projected onto me that people have just accepted and that's lived for over a decade and that I never really did anything to earn in the first place. Megan has learned to block out the criticism and negativities and instead focus on what's best for her, even as she struggles with the strict rules of quarantine." She said, quote, "My life changed so much during the quarantine. It's crazy. I'm not somebody who's ever done well with authority or being restricted by authority. So this has been really challenging for me. It's taught me a lot of patience, honestly, and I had to surrender." So this news is just crazy to me because it's just like Megan's getting heat for moving on first. Do you know what I mean? I feel like that happens in relationships sometimes. The one that moves on first always kind of gets a little heat. You know what I mean? And I don't think she's necessarily doing anything wrong, in my opinion. What do you think, Courtney?
I want to go back to Megan discussing her perception of her image, right? So we know her as young lady in Transformers. We know her as Jennifer's Body. What around that time, Alex, or even after that, just because I'm not sure, what did she come out and do an interview where she was like, "I'm not a sex pot," or did she come out and do like a really dramatic film where she dyed her hair blonde and was like a drug addict, or like what about Megan Fox? What did she do actively during that time? Because I just don't know, to sort of pull the audience in on who exactly she is, since it appears as though she's so frustrated that we are perceiving her to be a way based off of the work that she gave us and decided to do. And y'all know I love Megan Fox. I'm just curious as to why she's a little bit oppressed that we look at her as like one of the sex pots of the last decade. And she's not using that to her advantage or using that to leverage really good roles. You know, I look at it as sort of, if they look at her as only a sex pot, take the role, take the money for your kid and go, right? No, because doesn't she have children?
Of course, yeah. She has children with Brian Austin Green. Well, there was all those kind of allegations about Michael Bay set of, you know, there's a lot. Megan Fox denies being preyed upon by Michael Bay. There was a lot of drama around her kind of being. Remember all of that?
Yeah.
So, but she denied
then
it.
I feel like, girl, that was the time. That was time. She should have came out in cosplay in a business suit.
Right. And then a lot of interviews, kind of old interviews came out where she was talking about it, like on the Jimmy Kimmel show. I think it was Jimmy Kimmel, where she referenced like how James kind of, you know, did sexualize her in some ways, but then denied it. So I think that topic has, you know, really been around her world a lot. I mean, she's a beautiful woman, stunning woman. I've always thought she was, always had a little girl crush on her. But I think, you know, it's just part of this generation today that women in general are more than just a pretty face. And it's something that women are fighting to express and be heard every single day. And I think Megan's just kind of echoing that sentiment that, you know, and at the end of the day, she's not doing anything wrong. She's divorced or getting a divorce. I don't know if it's official yet, and has a new relationship. She's happy.
So music lover is saying Megan Fox was black. And truthfully, there it is. That makes sense. So after what you just said, Alex, and reading Music Lover saying that she was potentially blackballed, that makes a lot of sense. There are a couple people that are in the entertainment industry that I'll be like, what happened to so-and-so? And then you find out they're like blackballed. Brendan Fraser! Oh. Everyone go watch The Mummy! Brendan Fraser! We gotta save our sis, Brendan Fraser! They won't give us
Encino Man. Encino Man, my all-time. Encino Man? You seen Encino? All time, right? We're bringing it real back.
Yeah.
Any Brendan Fraser fans in the T-Tribe? That's a name.
Kristen is saying, I'm so happy for Megan. Why stay in a bad marriage? People move on. And understand that also, Alex, to take it back to the original story, you know I go off on a tangent. People are mad at Megan for getting some of Machine Gun Kelly. He's a good-looking man. He makes money. And he's also something else I think people forget when it comes to thinking of Kells is he's a father. And she's
Right.
a parent as well. So that's something that they have in common. So before you write her off and call her all of the things, just remember there's a lot more in common than meets the eye.
Exactly. And I do want to make a point about Brian Austin Green. And remember, he posted on Instagram mocking her caption. I mean, if anyone's being immature about this whole thing, it's him. You know, obviously, I'm sure there's a lot of hurt there in the relationship, and we're not in the relationship. But her just posting photos with him, I don't think, and showing she's happy, I don't think is an issue. But we're still not done with our couples Thera-Tea because Beyonce and Jay-Z were just seen having a much needed break. We're going to get into that. And then, of course, our Card Jenner tea time if you're just joining us, and also the Britney news. So stick around for that. But before we get into that, Jay-Z and Queen Bee were spotted cruising the Lux waterways, as they reported it, of the Hamptons with Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey aboard, which is an interesting person aboard. So these pictures that were shown, there's like 5 or 6 of them on the boat, and they're just, you know, cruising the waterways, having a nice little day. Of course, Jay-Z and Beyonce have been very busy. You know, Beyonce just dropped Brown Skin Girl video, debuted Black is King on Disney+, and then Jay-Z dropped a new single with Pharrell, Entrepreneur. If you haven't heard it, T-Tribe, I really liked it. Have you heard it, Courtney?
I have not. I didn't even know Jay-Z dropped music.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Check
so
it
here
out.
you are, girl. Let me listen to her when the show's over.
Yeah, it's very Pharrell inspired, but I liked it. So anyway, so a lot of people are, you know, of course, giving them slack about having 5 or 6 people on board, which is technically allowed, but I think they deserve this much needed break. How do you feel about this, Courtney?
Shout out to Beyonce. She works very hard. She's up hanging out with Jack from Twitter. I'm wondering when Beyonce is going to slip him the note. We need to be verified. That's what I'm waiting on. Do you think that that's what Beyonce was talking to Jack about? She was like, I watched this show on the internet, and I really feel like those two right there, yeah, they need some blue checks. I could just hear it now, girl. Can't you hear her? Her soft voice in the wind, girl. I can hear it, girl.
Exactly. She's like, Hollyscoop. I'm singing down. I'm crying. What I'm trying to accomplish right now is singing Hollyscoop should be verified in the Brown Skin Girl tune. And I'm not very successful at it. I'll leave, you know what, T-Tribe, I won't even sing my vocals today because it's not necessary. But I do think that's probably what they were talking about, Courtney.
Freaky Walrus is saying, of course, Jay-Z dropped music because Nas just did. Have you guys paid attention to how Jay-Z has trolled him for years and only releases stuff when Nas does? Talk about blackballing. So real quick and very briefly, Nas and Jay-Z have had beef 4 years. Ether, anyone? So I didn't even think about that, Freaky Walrus, but that definitely makes a lot of sense. And wouldn't Jay-Z want to capitalize off of Nas currently being in drama with Doja Cat? Ooh, Freaky Walrus, your magnifying glass was shaking just now. That was good.
That was. Yeah, interesting. Anyway, shout out to them. Hopefully they're being safe, you know, and they're enjoying their time in the Hamptons, which I wish I was there with them. But Jack, verify us. But until we're verified, let's dive into this because we got to get into our Card Jenner tea time. So Courtney, take it away for one of our favorite families. Let's do this.
All righty. If you guys are ready for all the tea from behind the Card Jenner gates, be sure to turn your volumes down for Card Jenner tea time. Hello to everyone in my studio. I want just myself.
Yes. All right. First up, we're talking about Kylie and Kendall attending a house party at the Biebers. So T-Tribe, if you didn't catch this, Kylie and Kendall attended a house party thrown by Justin and Hailey Bieber. The problem, of course, is that California Mayor Eric Garcetti banned all public and private gatherings of any size that would occur outside of a single home. And it's still in place, and individual and family gatherings or parties of any size aren't allowed. according to the Los Angeles County Department of Public Health, published on August 13th. So photos from the Daily Mail showed Kylie and Kendall and other celebrities arriving without masks. The party was for Justine Skye, and she posted pics with Justin Bieber and Haley and friends. Kylie and Kendall seemed to ignore California's non-essential travel advice. They visited Turks and Caicos to celebrate Kylie's birthday. So I know we've spoken about this many times on the show. These girls have such a large platform and should remember that they unfortunately are being watched at all times and should be following the code, even if they're attending a party at Justin Bieber's. How do you feel about this, Courtney?
Not surprised. What I want people to focus on is the fact that we always talk about how the Kardashians be stealing men, right? And I always very casually, quickly and briefly, Justine Skye. Now, Justine Skye can't be that mad about getting her man stolen because she hanging out with Kylie and Kendall at the Biebers house, right?
Yeah, good point.
I'm not hanging out with nobody that's stealing my man, first of all. So it couldn't have been that awful because Justine Skye is just having a ball of time with both sisters, not even just one.
Very
both.
true.
And he was there. So,
good
how do
point.
you feel about that? Are the Kardashians really stealing? Let me not even ask that silly question. Are the Kardashians really stealing men? Do you think they sat down and said, Justine, give us your man in exchange for nothing? Because we still barely know who she is. Shout out to Justine Skye, though. Very weird. I wish that they would stay home. And what will it take for this to change? Well, one of them has to get sick and wind up in the hospital. Will we find out when they get sick and wind up in the hospital? Maybe. Is it good for the show? Or I don't know, Alex. But I feel like all of this stuff won't stop here with these dumb celebrities and the baby influencers that are trying to follow them until one of them gets sick. And we talk about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Wesley, of course, is chiming in saying it's scandal, and it is very scandalous for them to not be following the guidelines. Crystal says the mayor needs to cut their power off. Yes, Justin's and the Kardashians. So, of course, if you've heard, we talked about on the show, Mayor Garcetti shut off the Hype House's water and power where Bryce Hall and some of the TikTok stars live. Bryce has now moved, which I also saw, which is just funny to me because he just moved. Not there anymore. But yeah, I guess if he's trying to set an example, it would make sense to shut off Justin's power, who had the party. I don't think it's going to happen, though. But
they can do that, Alex, but honestly, not who cares in the sense of disrespect, but who cares in the sense of they're rich. Okay.
Yeah.
So turn around. Girl, I'll move somewhere else and put the power in someone else. Now what?
Exactly.
Or I'll rent an Airbnb. Now what? You can do all of those things to these people, but like I said, it's really not going to change until one of them gets sick and unfortunately one of them passes away. That's what's going to cause change. People are politicizing something that's killing thousands of people every day. So as soon as we have the big wake-up call, it's really what it is, Alex, is it has to be someone that everyone collectively cares about. Not to get morbid, but just as an example, briefly. If you guys remember, unfortunately, when Kobe Bryant passed away, that affected everybody. People that know nothing about sports, all the way down to high school coaches, pageant queens, moms, high school principals. It affected everyone. So until COVID affects something that affects everybody cares about, then people are going to keep being selfish because that's what it is. It's people being selfish. So natural selection definitely is a real thing. And girl, bam, do your thing, natural selection, get them.
I agree with you. Moving on to our Kim news, because this is some lighter news. Kim showed off this photo op of the two daughters clowning around. Look at how stunning. Honestly, their kids are beautiful. But she shows them looking, perfectly posed, as the Kardashians are so good at. And then if you scroll through all the photos at the end, they fall off and you barely see them there. They're just kids being kids. It's sweet to see Kim show that, the kids are doing well and having fun. So I'm happy that, she posted this. I'm sure there's some purpose behind it. But at the end of the day, I just hope that they're healthy and happy. And that's all that matters because they've been through a lot over the past, few months, should I say, in their family. How do you feel about this cute photo op, Courtney?
Shout out to Kim being a mother, taking pictures of her children. Very mom thing of her to do. And shout out to Kimberly for executing that perfectly. Another day at work.
Another day at work in the Carr Jenner household. Well, listen to the work Kanye's been up to because it's not very good work. Kanye West is being sued over this Sunday service technology. So there's a new lawsuit against Kanye. It claims Kanye took advantage of a tech company to advance his Yeezy brand and launch his popular Sunday service, which we've spoken about many times on the show. My Channel Inc. is the company. It's a Black-owned business specializing in video and e-commerce technology. So the company claims it linked up with Kanye in spring 2018 to help maximize revenue for his Yeezy merchandise. My Channel Inc. is repped by attorneys Ben Mazelis and Michael Popak. Don't know if I just slaughtered that, but alleging Kanye got the company to work around the clock for him for 6 months based on a series of business promises. So including a future $10 million investment. An estimated it put in 10,000 man hours and invested $7 million of its own into the Yeezy project, this company, My Channel Inc. So I'm just laying down all the facts, guys, before we, get into it. According to the suit, My Channel even moved its headquarters once to Calabasas and once to Chicago. So they even got up and moved, all to please Kanye and make the partnership work. However, after the 6 months, My Channel claims it became clear Kanye had no intention of following through on his promises and he cut ties, but not before allegedly jacking its technology for his newly launched Sunday service. So the company alleges Kanye's promises of a partnership were just an effort to fuel his Yeezy brand and steal confidential technology to make millions on Sunday service. And now they're suing him over it. My Channel is seeking more than $20 million in damages. So this is intense. Courtney, where do we even begin? This is a lot to unpack. This is just sad and horrible to me if this is true. How do you feel, Courtney?
My question, who on Kanye's financial team was in charge of that deal? And if there was no person that was in charge of that deal outside of Kanye, Kim, why not? That's how I feel, because I feel like at this point, let all of the creative control, right? Creative mastermind, we'll even say. But I feel like, Kim, you're the lawyeress. You should be there. Khaki skirt on.
Exactly.
Paperwork thick. Highlighter yellow. Ink plentiful in the pen. And she should be making sure that her family is set up with a good deal for this company. Now it looks like they're trying to get your coin. And if they're right, I would imagine that they would get their coin. So you can't steal, Alex. You really got me when you said y'all moving locations and all of that, and y'all not giving. Okay.
Right. If this is true, they moved their headquarters to Calabasas to be closer and once to Chicago. So it seems like they've had this relationship for a while, and maybe it all kind of went different directions when everything was going on with Kanye and his breakdown. Maybe that's kind of where it started, but it seemed like they still had a partnership going on, and they feel valid enough about this partnership and feel that it was true to create a lawsuit. But I agree with you. I think that Kim needs to put her lawyer hat on and figure out what's going on, or else they're going to get a lot of money in damages. T-Tribe, how do you feel about this? Do you believe
if this trends? I was just saying, I wonder if this trends large enough and gains enough attention, will this be a filler on Keeping Up? I feel like it kind of has that power, like a fake out, like, look what happened, something awful has happened to Kanye, and then when you finally sit down and watch the episode, it's like Kanye is being sued. Collect channel.
Right.
Next. What MTV got on? Challenges on?
Definitely. This could definitely be a storyline on the show. Kat is saying not true. Also, all sounds fishy. So Kat does not think that my channel is being honest. I'm interested to follow this suit though and figure out what's going on, because I also want to understand what it's a video and e-commerce technology. So we know that Kanye filmed Sunday Service. We've seen clips from it. We showed them kissing on their social media before in that fisheye lens. I don't know if that's part of the technology, but I'm interested to kind of learn more about the specific technology they're kind of claiming he's
stolen.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what did you create? What did Kanye take? What percentage you think? Or what's the whole thing, girl? That's why they want the millions, girl. And is it really that revolutionary for millions?
Right. Ugh. Well, speaking of stealing, no one's going to be stealing Britney Spears' money anytime soon, because let's move in to our OMT story of the day. If you've been waiting for this, please give this video a thumbs up so we can bring you the tea every single morning. Jamie Lynn Spears is being named a trustee in Britney's conservatorship. So she is Britney's trustee for the SJB Revocable Trust, which was initially set up to protect Britney and her children's finances. Britney's trust pertains to her bank accounts and personal items such as clothes, jewelry, artwork, furniture, according to reports. It's not clear, though, if it also includes the value of any intellectual property, which would be her music rights, or if it's owned by Britney. So Jamie Lynn will be responsible for ensuring her fortune is transferred into a trust benefiting Britney's children in the event of her death. As for Britney's conservatorship, a judge ruled that Britney's conservatorship will be extended as is through February 1st, 2021, despite her request to remove her father. And then, as we know, her manager, Jody Montgomery, is currently her temporary conservator. Britney requested in this same suit that Jody, her longtime care manager, continue in that role. So for those that don't know, Jody was appointed to serve as Britney's temporary conservator in September 2019 after Jamie, her father, petitioned the court to hand over the reins, citing ongoing health issues. So Jody's kind of been in charge for a while, and Britney wants this to happen. We spoke about this on the show before. So this trust was actually amended in 2018, naming Jamie Lee, her sister, as the trustee. And then the move was signed off on by her co-conservators, Andrew Wallet and Jamie Spears. So Jamie still had something with the father. According to the documents, while alive, Britney Spears is the sole beneficiary of the trust, but it outlines what steps are to be taken if she passes away. I know it's a lot of facts, so sorry guys, I'm just trying to lay it all out there so we get the entire story. Jamie's asking the court to approve Jamie, her father. I know this gets confusing because they're both named Jamie. The appointment of Fidelity Financial Management to create blocked accounts that will hold all of Britney's assets and serve as advisors with her investments. The documents also outline. It's unclear whether Jamie's asking to move the assets to the accounts now or in the event of Britney's death, but the trust outlines exactly what should happen to her fortune in case of her death. In other words, if she passes away, Jamie Lynn will ensure that the assets and cash be transferred to the trust set up to take care of the children. So it's a long story, a lot of facts. Let's break it down. Do we think this is a step in the Free Britney movement? Do we think Jamie Lynn kind of being a trustee to this trust will help that? Or do you think Jamie Lynn and Jamie, her father, have something, an understanding going on? What do we think, Courtney?
Truthfully, I don't see why Jamie Lynn would be against her own sister. Wesley is saying, I don't trust you in this decision at all, ... at all. For those of y'all that feel like we shouldn't be trusting Zoe 101, tell us why, because I don't see why we wouldn't. The father, sure. And the reason why is because the kids came out and said that the father was like hitting on them and stuff like that. So that's why I'm definitely not a fan of the death. The kids came and said something. Now, if the kids come out and say Auntie Jamie Lynn is garbage bag hefty, then throw her in the dump. But I haven't heard that or really have any reason to believe that other than like weird Instagram comments that I see like Jamie Lynn like leave on celebrities like Instagrams to believe that she's all there. Outside of that, I don't really understand why people would be apprehensive. So let me know.
Right. I agree. Like you said, there's no kind of evidence for us to not believe that Jamie Lynn has the best interest for her sister. Just looking at it blankly, it seems like Jamie Lynn is trying to step in and she's on Britney's side or trying to help her. It's definitely a step in the right direction. I also think that if this is really going on, Jody should continue in that role that she's kind of taken over. I hope it's a positive thing. I hope it's a direction to free Britney, so to speak.
Yeah.
But because that, if the entire family is involved in this, it just doesn't remove any of that control, and a lot of people are saying, why does Jamie Lynn need to be in control? Why can't Britney just be in control? People are still saying that having Jamie Lynn take over is not good enough. Why is Britney still being controlled? But
I feel like if y'all looked at her Instagram story, y'all wouldn't be comfortable living, and it would be a little easy for y'all to imagine why any person at her social media would think that maybe someone else should be in control of her finances. That's my perception. Is that I look at her Instagram and I would be afraid. If that were my mom, I would be afraid to have her live alone, and I would be afraid if I felt like she wasn't 1999 Britney, Catholic schoolgirl, uniform Britney. Then sure, I would have a family member that I trusted go on ahead and be the trust lady.
right.
Wesley saying the only thing I want is Lynn Spears is a Zoe 101 revival. What happened to Chase? What happened to Chase, Wesley? I don't know.
Exactly. Sean is saying there's a lot of sketchy things behind the scenes. Very true. Kristen's asking, why isn't her mother in charge? That's another thing that's being brought up in this whole Free Britney movement. Where is her mother? We don't hear anything really about her mother being involved. Tina saying if she's not mentally able to control her own things, then having 2 or more family members helping is good. No one person has all the control. That's a good point. There are many, many different feelings about this entire movement. At the end of the day, the most important thing is that Britney is safe and feels, good. It's just so sad. This whole thing is so sad. And I just want her to be taken care of in a healthy and honest way at the end of the day. Even, because it just doesn't seem right. Whatever's going on just doesn't seem right. And that's sad.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not even thirsty for the music, obviously. And I think it would be hella weird for people to be like, well, Britney, where's the music? And why is she not on stage? At this point, as a fan, I just want Britney to be okay. And for me personally, to look at her social media or see her, maybe not even do an interview or something from her to be like, all right, well, Britney's getting back to her. Or you know what, that's quirky Britney, but that's just who she is and she's all right. And I don't feel that way, to be honest with y'all. So,
exactly. Right. Well, unfortunately, that is all the time we have today on this show. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. There was a lot of tea to spill today. If you're new to the Morning Tea, welcome and hit that subscribe button. Make sure you leave us a comment and give us your thoughts on all the tea we spilled today. We love to hear your opinion to what we're talking about. And make sure you hit that notification bell so we can bring you the morning tea every morning for an extra dose of the amazing Courtney revolution that we all need in our lives. Courtney, where can they find you?
For more pop culture mess and videos up on my YouTube channel, as well as to follow me on social media, just be sure to put Courtney Revolution there up in the search bar, girl. All the come right on up.
Yes. And of course, I'm Alex Schiffman. You can follow me on all social media at Alex Schiffman. And make sure you check out the Celeb News Bites on the Hollyscoop YouTube channel right after the morning tea. And on that note, Courtney, we'll be back tomorrow for Thick Thursday, and it's time to take us out.
All righty. We'll see you tomorrow for Thick Thursday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And now it's time to wash your hands, Leo. You better wash your hands. It's in demand. You better wash your hands. Wash your hands. Scrub your hands. Scrub your hands. It's in demand. You better scrub your hands. Scrub your hands. It's in demand. Hey, just wash your hands. Just wash your hands. Miss ma'am, just wash your hands.